Welcome, everyone, to the second season of our discussion podcast session show, whatever you would love to call it. Sister to Sister Pod. We're so excited to be back for our second year around. First and foremost, I would like to welcome my co-host, my sister, T.
Greetings. Thank you.
Yep, and today we have a special session lined up for you guys. And before we go ahead and introduce our guest for the hour, I'd just like to make a few statements here. Um, Here at Sister to Sister, this year is our self-care year. And this week in particular is Men's Health Week. We want to put a spotlight on men. A lot of times when you think about a man, you think about his strength. You think about his courage. You think about a man being a protector, a provider. You think about a man being, like I said, being strong. But today we want to talk about something that is hardly emphasized, especially in media. Something that's, people hardly think about when they think about a man. And we want to talk about men's health. Men's health is very, very important. Men matter, right? Men matter because men are, here at Sister to Sister, we believe that men are the foundation of the family. Men are the bedrock of the family. So when we think about a man, when we think about a brother, a father, an uncle, a cousin, when we think about a man, we think about creation. In Genesis 1 verse 27, I don't know, TK, if you can read that really quickly. Genesis 1 verse 27.
I don't have it. I'd have to step away.
Okay. Let me see if I can read it. I had it down. And I'm going to find it again here. And here at Sister to Sister, we love to reference the Word of God.
Right.
The topics and topic of conversations that we have. We love to talk about, general things that happen, in life, people's experiences, but we like to circle it back around and bring it back to God and how, and the creation and the Bible. So we make it fun. So stick around. I'm going to read Genesis 1 verse 27. Genesis 1 verse 27 says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female." Again, I'll repeat that. Genesis 1 verse 27 says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female." So today, again, as I said, we are focusing on self-care. And we know that self-care encompasses a lot of things: psychological, emotional, physical, sometimes even financial. So we're going to be touching on different topics. But again, like I said, for anyone who's joining us now, today we're going to be talking about men's health. So Tabuho, I'd like to kick it over to you to introduce our guest for the day.
All right. Our guest for the day is Mr. Stone Hamabwe Kabwe. He is a son of God first, whom he attributes has brought him through life's challenges. He is a husband and a father of 6 beautiful children. He enjoys family time, worship on the Sabbaths. Professionally, he is a nurse practitioner in family and internal medicine, seeing patients of all ages and genders across the lifespan. His passion is men's health and improving men's overall vitality, health, mental health, physical and spiritual, by tapping into their resources that they already have. And a fun fact is that he likes biking as well. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you. Wonderful.
Oh, biking. You never really think about biking and brothers.
Right. Absolutely.
So before we dive in, Mr. Kabwe, how should we address you? How would you like to be
Ah,
addressed? Yes.
yeah, you can just call me Stone. That's perfectly fine.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, welcome. And I did check you out on Health Partners.
Wow,
I'm ready for
wonderful.
you.
All right. Great. Awesome.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your upbringing, and how you ended up being a nurse practitioner.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the both of you for having me here today. It's an honor to be here and just have this discussion about something that I'm very passionate about. I am very proud of you both for launching this, and I do just love the idea that you started out with, to just teach people, educate people, motivate people to take care of themselves, especially as we get into the new year. It perfectly aligns with renewal of self, starting new goals, and just looking forward to a whole new year and a whole new person. So yeah, about myself. So I come from a family of three. I have two siblings. On my mom's side, I do have siblings too on my dad's side, and that's a larger family. However, just big, lovely family, lots of cousins, the two of you included. So I'm happy to be here. I just want to put it all out there that we are related, and I'm perfectly happy to be here today.
Yeah.
Yes, so originally from Zambia, Central Southern Africa. Grew up there the first half of my life, and the second half of my life I've been here. And my original background was in finance and banking, coming out of Zambia. And immigrating to the United States, I definitely wanted to continue along that path. However, I quickly realized within a very short time of getting here that was not going to be a feasible thing to do.
Right.
And I'm lucky that I had really good people, really good family that gave me good advice to jump into a different field. And you probably know this, or maybe you don't, but I want to credit Auntie Chimi, who happens to be your mother, that she really encouraged me to get out of the things that I was doing into healthcare, and I heeded that advice very early on.
Wow.
So I became a nursing assistant, worked in nursing homes across Michigan and Indiana, and then also moved on to becoming a licensed practical nurse, or LPN as they call it, and just kept going through the ranks, going to school, picking up a few, certifications, degrees, associate degree, diploma, and all the way eventually to where I'm at now as a family nurse practitioner in family medicine and internal medicine with Health Partners technically.
Wow.
Wow. Wait, hold
it's extensive.
Hold on now. Woo! I have to give you your flowers. Wow. One, for your spirit of obedience, your spirit of obedience. A lot of times we get advice from people, and there are lots of people who have not taken other people's advice. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate that you heeded to your elders' advice. That's very admirable, and also that you followed the course, that you stayed the course. And we just want to give you your flowers for where you are right now. We're very, very proud of you.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
With that being said, I'd like to read a few Bible verses, and then I'd like to, make a statement really quick here about men's health. So I'm going to go ahead and read Deuteronomy 4, verse 9. Deuteronomy 4, verse 9 says, "Take heed to thyself and take care of your lives." John 1 verse 2 says, "I pray that you prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers." So I want to read a quick fact over here that talks about men's life expectancy. It says men have a life expectancy of 76.1 years, which is 6.5 years less than women on average. So women live longer than men, y'all.
That's right.
That's true. Absolutely.
That's right.
Let's put it out there. Women live longer than men. But you know, that was supposed to, you know, make you guys laugh, make you guys, you know, break the ice.
We chuckled
you know.
a little bit. We did.
Yeah, so let's go right into it. T, take it away with you know, the next few couple questions here.
Perfect. So before we dive into the fun facts about men, what are some challenges that you faced on your educational journey to get to nurse practitioner?
Absolutely. Yes. You know, like most things, there definitely were challenges along the way. One, I think the most significant challenge is definitely the challenge of coming from another country and coming to the United States as an immigrant, as a student. The change is a difficult one, so to say. It's not easy, and just really getting yourself grounded and getting yourself switched on to your goals and to focus was definitely not the easiest thing to do. There was a lot of things to settle down and to think about. For example, finances, personal life, how to take care of yourself, and all of those things. So definitely those things are not the easiest to do. And the biggest challenge, of course, is how to pay for your education, how to fund your education. So, you know, I definitely had help, family assistance, and lots of prayers from, you know, family as well, and personal prayers to just asking God to help me stay the journey and stay focused on that. Other challenges, of course, there's always like family challenges because while I was going to school, life was also happening. You know, I started a family, kids came, and you have to take care of your family, you have to take care of your children, you have to take care of yourself. So there's a lot of multiple things, and school in America is not the most affordable either. So one really has to be focused and want to do good.
I love that.
Yeah. Yes, love that. Wow.
You know, I think it's important to mention. So before we hop into our next segment, I'm going to talk about some facts that impact men's health. So all of these facts are going to come from concord.edu, and it's stated that over 230,000 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer, and 30,000 of those men are likely to die yearly. It states that men have a higher death rate for most leading causes of death, including cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and suicide. And then what I would like to consider a little bit on the lighter side is that Men's Health Week, which was the 11th through the 17th of June, was passed by the U.S. Congress and signed into law by President Clinton in 1994. Right. Yes, and then in the 1990s, later on, they made it a month. So June is officially Men's Health Month. So talking about men's health, how important is it for men to follow up with screenings and checkups?
Very, very important. So going back to what Titi said, that women live.
Sorry about that. Stone, your sound faded out a little bit. Could you adjust it?
My sound faded out?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on one second. Oh, I think I'm getting. Oh, okay, there. Okay, I think I was getting a call. Hopefully that's better. Anyways, I think I was saying that as Titi attributed earlier, that men, fail to live as long as women do. So that alone establishes the premise for men to pay attention to their health. It's very, very important for us men to pay attention to our health. One, for reasons of the fact that we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our families, right? So definitely very important. Every man should put it as a priority to have their yearly screenings, which we'll get into a little bit later down the road here. But definitely get into the habit of looking after yourself. You owe it to your family, you owe it to yourself. Think about it this way. Your family depends on you, not only your children, not only your spouse, but you have your siblings, you have your parents, and you have a whole entire community that depends on your talents, your gifts that you bring to the community, to the church, to your work, your job, everything that is about you.
I love that. And you know, it ties in with the next fact, which says that men make half as many physician visits for prevention as women. Why do you think that occurs?
So, drawing back on my experience as a provider, a lot of the times that I see men, they only come in when they have an actual concern. Like, it really have to be something that's hurting, something that's gone terribly wrong, something that's been bothering them for a long time, and now they're like, I need to get this checked out. And that's good that you're going to come in, right? But men should be in the habit of just getting a wellness check, a physical exam, where you're not going because something is wrong, but you're going just because you want to make sure that nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
So that's a preventative health visit. So we should not only be seeing a medical provider only when you're sick, but to prevent things from happening and to make sure that if there is anything wrong, we catch it in good time and we help you, either treating it in its early stages and then avoid things from getting worse. And so when we talk about cancer in specific, Black men are prone to a lot of the cancers, prostate cancer, colon cancer. So we're prone to all those things. And that is a specific reason itself to have routine annual physical exams and wellness exams to get checked out. So men usually put things down the road. We kick things down the road because we're trying to achieve it all. We're trying to do it all. We're trying to work the overtime. We're trying to make the money. Yeah. We're trying to impress other people. We're trying to make sure that we're doing as well as the next person down the street. So the other thing too is that there's a lot of comparisons with our peers, and that's another thing that we should get out of the habit of doing. We cannot compare ourselves to other people because everybody has a different set of circumstances that dictate their lives. So no two fingers are created equal. So we should always remember that. Always remember that.
That is so good.
I tried to keep a straight face until you said that. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. But I absolutely love that. And as you were speaking, I was just kind of, looking at my notes over here. I have to keep some notes on the side. I was hey, I have to keep it real, right? So I was just thinking about all the things that, because of course we're not going to be able to go into such depth. This is just a part one, by the way. We're going to be bringing Stone back for a part two. So we know that today we're not going to be able to touch on every topic. So this is just us scratching the surface. Okay, so please bear with us and stick around for the ride. So I was getting back to a few of my notes here. I wanted to mention a few things that affect men's health. Those things would be alcohol intake. Too much of something is, is not good, right? Too little, too much, where is that? Where do we draw that line? So let's talk about alcohol intake. Let's talk about being overweight. Lack of exercise would be you're overweight and you're not exercising. You're not walking. In the neighborhood, you have your 80-year-olds and your 90-year-olds walking around, your little, what do you call that? Cul-de-sac? The
cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you look outside and you see your neighbors who are, between the ages of 70 and 80 years old, maybe even 90, walking, and you're watching them from your bedroom window. We have to get into the habit of being active, because one of the things that happens is when you overeat and you don't exercise, the weight just kind of just impacts your overall health. So we think about, like I said, alcohol. We think about being overweight, lack of sleep. A lot of times we do these jobs, and people work a variety of different jobs, but not getting that sleep when you need to get that sleep. I know it might be hard to get the 8 hours, but even 6 hours
Right,
can
right.
help to kind of keep the body, where it needs to be. A lot of people don't sleep, and they're groggy, they're moody, they're stressed.
Absolutely.
So lack of sleep brings on stress. And once you have stress, you have the breakdown of your immunity, which can cause all kinds of things that may not even be, really related to disease per se, but just that breakdown of that of your system will cause this, that, and the other. So that's why we brought our nurse practitioner here today to kind of walk us through some warning signs and to teach us. This platform, we're here to share and to educate one another. So that is our goal for today. So as I mentioned those things, can you touch on those things a little bit? Share whatever you feel necessary, Stone, and kind of touch on those for us a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Well, so when you do talk about alcohol, one, it's important to know that alcohol has calories, so you will gain weight from like drinking alcohol. And then two, we are getting more information regarding the effects of alcohol on your overall health. So not only the fact that it impairs your thinking, it impairs your mind, it impairs your attention to safety, and reduces all those things, your reasoning, the more that you take of it. The CDC recommendation is no more than 2 drinks of alcohol a day for men, right? And there's also a recommendation for women. So no more than 2 drinks. If you're drinking more than 2 drinks a day as a man of alcohol, you're drinking too much. And now, I think it was last week that the Surgeon General came out with a warning for alcohol actually being a carcinogen. So alcohol actually causes cancer, and to be specific, colon and hepatic cancer or liver cancer. So people need to watch out, and people need to know that just because the bottle on the bottle of alcohol does not have a warning that says it causes cancer, you have to be aware of those things. Actually, there's a push now to have this warning on the bottle, on the label of the alcohol drinks, that alcohol causes cancer, just the same way that they have the warning for cigarettes. So people have to be really, really aware of these things. I think a lot of people do know that alcohol has some adverse effects, but to the extent of what, most people do not. Another thing too to know is that for men that are actively trying to build a family, alcohol reduces your vitality to actually reproduce. So you can get into trouble with those things. It's not a blanket statement. It doesn't cover everybody, but there are some people who generally will suffer from the effects of alcohol in that regard. And so it's important to know your family history and also the history of alcohol on your family, because alcohol, of course, can become one of those substances that can become abused. So there is such a thing as alcohol abuse. As much as there is drug abuse, as much as there is tobacco abuse, there is alcohol abuse. To some extent, it's regarded as okay to have 2 drinks a day, but again, anything more than that is detrimental to your health, certainly detrimental to your health, and can cause adverse effects, cancer being one of them.
Wow. And you said 2 drinks. Now, alcohol has a different, what do you call this? Different, what is it?
I think,
You
what is it? The proof,
know
like
what I'm trying
70
to say.
proof,
Yeah, yeah,
30%.
yeah. Different limits, not limits. I don't know how to put
Let's
it.
call it
Yeah,
levels,
so,
Right,
intensity.
okay.
right,
There
right.
you go. So, there's some drinks that have 18% alcohol. So I wouldn't recommend 2 drinks a day. Some,
Yes. So I think if I recall correctly, a standard drink is considered 12 ounces
yeah,
or
Neighbors says concentrations. Thank you, Neighbors.
Thank you,
right.
sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Wow, wow. That's a lot. T, what do you have to add to that?
Listen, while Stone was talking, I was like, "Do you even know that you're preaching right now?" I'm sorry, I have to take it there because T started off with talking about how you were obedient. I was like, "Come on, there, right there, that is God's love language." And then you talked about alcohol not having a warning. All I'm saying is that a lot of the times we get in trouble
Right.
because we fall into traps when we have already been pre-warned
Right. Right.
by our parents and by the Lord, because if we're going to keep it real, it's called wine and spirits for a reason. Now that's going into a whole nother area. That's really going deep. But spiritually for me, when you said that, I was like, the enemy doesn't care that there's no warning. He's still going to trip you up on what you decide to put in your body.
Right.
So it really puts us in control to say we are still held accountable for what we're putting in our
Exactly.
bodies and in the gates. So
Yes.
you're preaching over here to me. I was like, woo! I'm glad I was on mute.
Piggyback off of
Absolutely.
that. Let me just piggyback off of that in terms of the consumption and how every liquor store is on the corner of every lower class neighborhood.
Yes.
That's not a
Yes.
coincidence. That's actually systemic.
Mm-hmm.
It is meant for us, minorities, people of color, to spend our money on alcohol, right?
Right. Right.
I can't say I have anything against anyone having a drink, that is to each his own. But when you find yourself consuming it on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, you need to go back and look at your numbers, look at your bank account, and look at how it's affecting your finances, because that's what happens. Alcohol, the more you drink it, the more you buy it. It becomes a part of the grocery list. You're grabbing your groceries, you're grabbing your white wine, but you don't really look at the calculations. You don't really look at your receipts. You don't look at your bank statement to look at how much you are spending on alcohol. It's systemic, and unfortunately, we are our minority groups are at we're the ones who consume alcohol the most, right? So, like I
Absolutely.
said,
Yep.
set up in every corner of every street and every middle class or lower class neighborhood. It's not a coincidence. But anyways, getting back
Absolutely.
to
Yeah. So
getting
just to add on maybe one more thing. So in general, just the less alcohol, the better. No
yeah,
alcohol, even
That's
better.
right.
And for women to be aware too that alcohol can increase the risk of breast cancer.
Mm.
So the other thing too that I really want to put across today is both men and women have the breast cancer gene. It's called the BRCA gene,
Yep.
1 and 2.
Yep.
Okay, so both men and women have that. In a healthy individual, that gene is a gatekeeper. It regulates traffic in our bodies. It keeps all the other genes in check. Unfortunately, when that BRCA gene, either 1 or 2, goes awry or it goes rogue, or you inherit a bad copy from your parents, from your genes, from the family history, that's when the cancers happen, right? So in women, that can be breast cancer, that can be reproductive organ cancer, uterus, cervix, and vaginal cancer. So you can have any one of those things happen. In men, the same BRCA gene, if it goes awry, leads to prostate cancer, and by the way, men can also have breast cancer. And that's something too that needs to be talked about because men need to be aware of those things. However, the most common cancers for men from alcohol, tobacco, and just the BRCA gene going wrong, the prostate cancer, colon cancer, hepatic or liver cancer, and it could also be cancers in any other place in your body. So in general, the less alcohol, the better. And then always to be aware of your family history.
Wow. Wow.
So good. Look, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole because you were preaching again. I was like, just be quiet this time. Just, there was a verse that Titi was going to share and she did it. I'm just like, oh my goodness, it is tying in. But I will bring it up if we have time at the end. Now, you're talking about lifestyle and the challenges that we face, like when somebody goes into buy a lot of, like Titi was mentioning, if they're buying a lot of alcohol, that also affects your mental health. Now, talking specifically about men, what would you say are the warning signs of some of the diseases or chronic illnesses that you mentioned or that have been mentioned?
Absolutely. So again, and this is not just about alcohol, but anything in particular that you're finding yourself unable to live without. So for example, if you're not able to start your day without an eye opener, glass of wine, an eye opener shot of whiskey, brandy, whatever your alcohol choice is, you've got a problem. If you're unable to go to bed without a drink, something to make you feel calm, make you feel relaxed, make you feel tired a little bit, make you feel just relaxed enough to go to bed, you've got a problem. In the same vein, if you're unable to not have a cigarette before you go to bed, if you're stressed out and the first thing you think about is a glass of wine, a beer, a cigarette, something. And food is also a drug, by the way. So plug in food into all those things. You've got a problem. Any one of those things.
I'm sorry, but
if you
Mavis just says, or a joint.
Indeed, or a joint. Yes, absolutely. Any one of those things. Isaiah, I'm on an interview here. Can you please go sit down? Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
He just wants everybody to know that he's here too.
Oh, no, that's absolutely fine. Real
that's
life.
all part of being a dad and fatherhood. You have to take it all. So,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope that one day he'll be in a chair like this and propounding facts like these to other people.
Oh, wow.
However many years down the road.
I love
It starts
that.
today. So he's listening in and he's absorbing what I'm saying, hopefully at his level. But in any case, going back to what we're talking about, so anything that you find yourself unable to live without, that calms you down, that helps you feel better, and there's all kinds of things that people get addicted to: sex, food, alcohol, drugs. And when we say drugs, there's like so many things in that vein. And so, and if other people are telling you, hey, I think you're drinking a little bit too much, usually the people that are closest to us will notice those things, and they may or may not say something, or you may feel kind of like, I think I may be overdoing this. And if it starts to encroach into your lifestyle, your professional work, whatever your work is, if you start finding yourself unable to meet up the standard of what you're supposed to be doing, whatever job or work that you do, you're getting to work late because last night you engaged in some activity that now makes you wake up a little bit later, a little bit more tired, and then the first thing you're thinking of after work is going to do that particular thing, or going to have that particular drug, the food, alcohol, whatever it is. You've got a problem. And that's the time at which you should start to reach out before things become really, really bad and something terrible happens. And that's the role of any primary care provider, is to get you into the system, plug you into the right resources, whether it's counseling, whether it's medication to help you reduce your cravings. We're lucky that we live in a country that has a lot of resources. And so we have access to all of these things. You just have to reach out and don't wait for things to get terrible, to get bad. People have killed other people because of lack of responsibility, lack of accountability, and sometimes just the ignorance that this is not a good thing. But half the time, I want to say half the time, a lot of us know that we are in trouble and we want to keep it a secret as much as we can. But you know what? It's time to be open and be accountable to ourselves, be accountable to our families, our children, and above all to God, who put us here and has a purpose for our lives. Each one of us has something that God wants you to accomplish.
Yeah.
So let's not play with life, and let's not take things for granted.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I absolutely love what you just said. And I just want to say for anyone who, maybe checked in with us right now online, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen in to what we're talking about. And for whoever may watch this later on, thank you so much in advance for taking your time to watch this. We wanted to, kick things off. And by the way, this is our first time back,
I
to
know.
to our second season of our discussion space, Sisters and Sisters. So we're so happy to be talking about something so important, and we're so happy to have a very knowledgeable
Yeah.
and wise guest to walk us through
Thank you.
our, our questions. So I wanted to say this. Let's kind of shake things off real quick and go into talking about something. Because, like I said, guys, it's going to be a part 2. So please do tune in again. You can see that our nurse practitioner has, a plethora of, of wisdom, and we're not going to take it all in today, but let's soak in what we just heard. I want to talk about balance because, again, when you think about manhood, when as a woman, when I think about a man, I think strength. I think he needs to know what he's doing. He needs to know what he's talking about. He needs to be leading me. That's my thought about a man. But we hardly ever think about a man and his emotional state. How a man could have a long day at work and be stressed, be depressed. How a man could be sad and maybe not express that, and then that leads to that health breakdown that we're talking about, the issues we're talking about. I want to talk about balance with you. It seems to me that you're doing as well as you can be doing. So can you share with the rest of the men how you balance family, and how that you intertwine that with career? Where is that happy medium? Can you just share a little bit of that with us?
Absolutely. So I think it starts with one, just knowing that you cannot do it all. You cannot do it all. At some point, you can end up crashing, right? So yes, we do need to have balance. Prioritize things. There are things that are important. There are things that are urgent, and there are things that are necessary to be done. So make a checklist of what's important, what's urgent, and what's a priority. What absolutely has to be done that you cannot avoid doing. And everybody has a list of their own things that are absolutely important and absolutely have to be attended to and done. And then I think just having that discussion with your partner at home and just making sure that they're on board with what you're doing. And I've been blessed that I do have a partner that's been very supportive and has been willing to, take a lot of load off of me to be able for me to do what I have to do and succeed at what I need to do. And there comes a time when you have to switch roles and interchange roles so that both of you are successful and not just like one person is successful. And I think just making a long-term plan, not as an individual, but as a partner, as partners, as a home. And of course, if you're alone and you're doing this by yourself, then that makes a little bit of difference. But still remember that you have to have a good balance of good mental health, good physical health, good spiritual health, and overall just well-being. You should be all well-rounded in all those spheres. And so that takes one discussion. If you're alone, obviously appropriate your time to where you're not overdoing things, that you're shortchanging yourself on sleep. And sleep is one thing that very, very important. I think we talked about this earlier too, that a normal adult human being needs a good 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And that's another thing too that we tend to forget to do, and we we cut into our hours of sleep, and that catches up with us because we're tired during the day, we're not as productive, we're not there for our families, we're not there for our spouses, we're not there for our children, we're not there for our community because we're giving one thing too much.
Yeah.
So definitely look at how much you're doing. Are you putting too much in one area? And for how long can you do that? You may need to do that maybe for a couple months, maybe for a year, maybe for X amount of time. And that's okay. But remember to take time to recalibrate, or you will lose the focus of what you're doing.
Wow, wow, wow. T.
I'm taking notes. I am, because I know that there's going to be a part 2, but I'm like, there's just some things I need to talk about right now.
Absolutely.
And, when you're talking about sleep, I just think about, and it did mention in your bio about chronic conditions and how the lack of sleep can contribute to chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's so important. And what else did you say? You just keep on preaching, and I'm like, my mind is overwhelmed. I'm like, I just want to say it.
It's a very big topic, and it's very wide, and I'm trying to bring it down to earth and not really just be all over the place. And so just the very important things that people really need to take away. As we go on discussing here, we can plug in more things that I don't want to forget to talk about.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love how you said that we all have access to these things. And even bringing you on and having you talk about who you are as a man and as the nurse practitioner is making you more tangible. Like, because people see, providers as, oh my gosh, that person that knows so much. So I love that you're here and you're making it so personable to say, like, bro, fam, if you're feeling, pain in your knee, if you're feeling pain here, check in. And don't even wait to feel the pain. Just check in annually to make sure everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you said we have access, because I was thinking about the Father too. I was like, we have access to him too.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
That impacts your spiritual health. So to really say that it's time for us in 2025, especially that you mentioned that it's the new year, right in January, that we have access to all these things to better health, better mental health, better physical health, better spiritual health, to make ourselves better. So it really is about accessing all these tools and accessing your newfound nurse practitioner over there at Park Nicholas.
I'm waiting.
Get it.
Right.
Absolutely. Everybody's welcome. Absolutely.
This is awesome. I wanted to to mention something here. I wanted to just say that I found a note on the internet that talks about how men are more likely to die from heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. Men are also more likely to die from suicide, opioid overdose, alcohol use, accidents, guns, and assault. And I think, and I don't know about what you two think, but I can't say, oh, I've done so much research, and no, I have not. But what I'm learning is that men, especially in our culture, especially from minorities, people, internationals, men have not really had a safe space to open up, to share about their stresses. They have not really had a space where they can connect with people, where they can find mentors, or where they can connect with people who are going through similar situations. Then that leaves a man in a position where, because he can't speak about it, he has to kind of let it just kind of, slowly eat them up inside. You find a lot of people are having high blood pressure. It's no coincidence. A lot of people are having, strokes, heart attacks. That's no coincidence. It's just not being able to, fully express what's going on, and not having a place to share and to meet other men who could, like I said, mentor you. There are people who are trustworthy. There are people who can talk and share and keep things to themselves. I know, especially with our culture, we're a private culture. Most internationals, especially the African culture, we do not. We don't like to share in fear of oh, somebody will talk, someone will say this. I think it's time we come out of the shadows, and I'm not saying, put your whole life history online, but we come out of the shadows and we talk about the general topics, right? So we're here to to open up the conversation where we can share as much as you would like to share, nothing beyond that. So as long as you're connecting and we're giving you some thought, things that provoke your thoughts, to maybe, hook up with someone who maybe is going through a similar situation like yours. That's the whole point of Sister to Sister. That is exactly why we're here. And by the way, ladies, we don't only cater to men, but we we believe in the biblical hierarchy, and that is that God created man, and man is the foundation of the family unit. That is what we believe here, that man is the foundation of the family unit. Thus, if we can concentrate and come in and meet our men where we need to meet them, it makes the family as a whole a better and stronger family. Yeah, regardless of whether you're married, whether you're divorced, whether you're a single parent, having that place where you can meet that man halfway makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, let's continue. So now we've come to the end of our first segment, and the grass is green on the other side.
On the other side.
Green on the other side.
As they say.
So we're going to be coming back again with another segment with look, I said national, with our
He
Just
is.
make it national, yo.
He is. He is an international nurse practitioner. Yes, he is. You're right. Yes, he is.
Yes, with our nurse practitioner, Stone Cobway. Thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your time with us. But before we want to talk about legacy really quickly. Can you please tell us, what legacy do you have that you're leaving behind for your children?
Absolutely. So when you talk about legacy, for me, that just means what exactly do I want, like my children to remember me by, and what kind of things are important to me for them. And I think for me, it's really just a culture of investing in themselves. Let's help our children, one, invest in themselves. And the only way we can do that is if we invest in ourselves as men, right? So we invest in ourselves, and then we can have resources by which we can have our children invest in themselves. One, let's work on building generational wealth, whichever way we can do it, whether it's buying real estate, whether it's starting a business that maybe you can pass on to your children in the future, or just help your children to have an example of entrepreneurship and how to run a business, in addition to other things that they are able to do. Let's leave a legacy of spiritual well-being, healthy well-being, mental, physical, in all spheres. I'm a believer in being well-rounded. So not only being physically well, but mentally well, spiritually well, have a connection with God.
Yeah.
And that centers you. That definitely centers you. And once we have that connection with God, He makes all things known to us. Absolutely. He makes all things known to us. Whatever we want to do, consult with God. I also did not want to forget to mention that as men, we ultimately need to have, we have our Heavenly Father, and then we have our earthly father. In the event that you do not have an earthly father, or they've left this world, God rest their souls, we have to have an older person, an older man that can guide us, that can help us, who is, one, in good spiritual standing, well-rounded, in good financial standing, and can give us advice on many, many things, whether it be personal life, whether it be financial, whether it be marriage issues. Let's connect with people who are successful, people who are older, people who are full of wisdom. How do we find these people? We can connect with people like that through church, a good, well-known, renowned man of God, such as your church pastor, your church elder. But just make sure that you're connecting with somebody who is on a good level with God, and somebody who can give you godly wisdom. Because ultimately, you having that guidance will trickle down to your children, so that you do not make mistakes. We will make mistakes. We will make mistakes. No doubt about that. But with guidance, with help, we will have the help that we need through. God gives us people around us to help us.
Come on.
So we will have that help. So let's connect with people who can guide us, people who can help us, and let's leave a legacy of a life well led, a meaningful, purposeful life.
Yes.
Once we have that down, our children will emulate that, and they will make their own share of mistakes, and that's okay. That's okay. We all did. I made crazy mistakes growing up, but you know what? Life is about learning and getting away from the mistakes of your past, the mistakes of your youth, and finally, hopefully, walking down the right path. I had some other things too that I just wanted to quickly jot
please
down.
share. Yes.
So all men, to summarize everything that we have talked about, all men should have a primary caregiver. You should have a PCP, whether it's a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, a medical doctor, a doctor of osteopathic medicines. They all have different titles. Isaiah, noise please, quiet. They all have different titles, but they do the same thing. They will help you guide you through health challenges and make sure that your health is on point. Make use of your health insurance. And if you don't have health insurance, reach out to me. I can guide you on how to have screenings that won't cost you anything at all, because there are clinics that offer free healthcare for everybody. You do not need to be a citizen. You do not need to have a green card, but just reach out, and there are resources out there. So everybody should have a PCP. Everybody should have a primary caregiver. Don't see your primary caregiver only when it hurts. See them when you're well. Check your cholesterol, check your blood pressure, check your diabetes numbers. Ask for a test called an A1C, which will tell you if you're diabetic. And if you have a family history of diabetes, first degree relative, mother, father, sibling, definitely get checked out. Things like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol are all reversible through diet and exercise. As men, plug yourself into a gym. I know it's hard. Who has the time, right? But plug yourself into a gym. Go there 3 to 4 times a week. The recommendation from the CDC is 150 minutes of exercise a week. That breaks down into 30-minute increments 5 times a week. And you can break down even into 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes every morning, 10 minutes that is still helpful to do. So there's so many things that we can do to take care of ourselves. You do not have to be, and I know that a lot of people are afraid of being put on medication, on pills, especially men. We hate the idea of taking pills for blood pressure, for this and that, because we're always afraid of side effects on our sexual health. And this is the one thing that comes out so many times when I see people is, am I going to need a pill for this? Is it going to affect my sexual health? It depends. There's a lot of new classes of medications that will not do that, but you can also help yourself by preventing all those things. So hopefully we'll get another opportunity to dig more into this.
Absolutely.
This is a very big topic. It's very wide. We cannot definitely accomplish everything today, but this is a good beginning. This is a good foundation. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Look, T, you gave him his flowers. I have to give you yours, fam. Because, you know, families as family are like, yeah. Okay, but when I went online, I was like, let me just look up. So I typed your last name in. And to know that you, as a man, and you, as a person, have been in the healthcare field for over 20 years.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That alone says so much. Commitment, consistency, and I love your quotes. One thing that your patients should know about you is that you never give up. I
Oh,
love that. And
yeah.
even reading about you before I even got to a certain part, I was like, I love this because it sounds like you're an advocate. And when we go into the health system,
Absolutely.
when you
Absolutely.
when you find yourself in there with a doc or your PCP, sometimes something happens to you and you don't speak up for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I
Right.
like that what you are providing your patients is that not only are you a provider, but you're an advocate.
Right.
And people, there is a massive difference because your advocate fights for you.
That's right.
They're
That's right.
not going to be quick to throw medication at you. They're going to
Right.
try to find the root of
Right.
the problem. So what he's doing here is preventative care. And people, that's massive. He's not just trying to treat symptoms. They're trying to prevent. So, and he is great in men's health, but he is a nurse practitioner, so he sees all of
Yeah.
us. So
Absolutely.
if you are looking for a PCP in your area, definitely please reach out. T, like they say, when you go to YouTube, because if you're not catching it here, you can find it at YouTube, and T will put his information in the description box. And just for you to know that if you are in Minnesota, there is a place called La Clinica. If you do not have any insurance, and they do a sliding fee, but like he said, he is your resource. We brought him on here to be a resource for you. And Stone, I just want to say that I am more than impressed. I'm encouraged and inspired because, you know, even this quote that you said, if you don't chase after your dreams, then who will?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to that person out there, to your patient, maybe your dream is good health. You now
Right.
have an advocate that you can reach out to chase your dream. So
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for just showing us what persistence looks like. To really, it's one thing to say you're never going to give up. It's another thing to do it, and you are doing it. So I want to thank you so much for your time, and thank you for how you are impacting generations, not only yours, but you're impacting so many generations by doing what you're doing, and you are an agent. So I want to thank you, and God bless.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Thank you. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow. That was
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Doctor. Soon to be doctor.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm in
absolutely.
my own world here, but let's put it out there, doctor, eventually. But thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah,
Cowboy, for coming on, for taking your precious time away from your lovely family to join us here, your family at Sister to Sister. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And to all the men that come across this video or this live, I really hope this encourages you to step outside of your comfort zone and really take this new year, take a stand and learn how to take care of yourself. You're needed. Your families need you. Your sisters need you.
absolutely.
Your wives need you. And most of all, your children need you.
Yes.
So please do take care of yourself. Until next time when we do our second segment, you guys stay tuned. Have a lovely Sunday, and thank you all so much for whoever joined us online. We really do appreciate that. You guys, this is Men's Week, Men's Health Week, so you're going to be seeing a lot of quotes from us, so look out for those. And also look out for segment 2 of Men's Health with NP, Mr. Cowboy. You guys have a lovely Sunday. Thank you so much, Tabuho. Thank you, Mr. Cowboy. And
Thank
we
you for
will.
having me. Much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. Take